think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who want to fight me? Who?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all of the belts, all of the titles. Body work,
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. I want to talk some boxing this afternoon. And I'm going to make the curriculum kind of short today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how this one is going to go. Salute to Brooklyn Hit. Salute to Cookie Monster. Salute. Sounding crystal clear. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But I'm not gonna go into the real curriculum, even though I see it's working, man. People reading articles now. You know what I'm saying? They've been reading, you know, they've been on the flow, you know what I'm saying? I can't knock it, you know what I'm saying? Never underestimate the power of influence, man. You know, even the little guys, you know what I'm saying? You know, the little guys. But I was gonna get off of gaslighting. I think, you know, and I'm gonna give some examples today while I'm going through the whole presentation. I'm gonna go through some of them, but I'm not gonna go into gaslighting. But what I will do is direct your attention. I think I mentioned this book on a couple of lives. I read it so long ago, I probably could read it again. You know what I'm saying? Give me that swift kick in the tail, you know what I'm saying, by reading it again. But it was a book by John P. Cotter, and it was called A Sense of Urgency. And I'm just going to read the summary for it. A sense of urgency summary. The thesis John Cotter presents in his book, A Sense of Urgency, is a simple and straightforward message. Change begins with a sense of urgency. The key to leading a world-class organization through today's turbulent economy is understanding what it takes to maintain a true sense of urgency. Man, I can go in, man, but some of us need to change. You know, one thing I learned a long time ago, man, one thing about change is you got to be willing to do it, and you got to be willing to do it like that. Like, you got to be willing to change at the blink of it, not a knee-jerk reaction and just, you know, just wild and crazy, but you got to be able to change, man. And I tell myself that, you know, when I have my low moments and I'm like, man, they using the stuff. They like the information. Yo, what you gonna do? It's like you got to do an evaluation like you do with everything else. And you got to say, okay, well, what can I do? Like, regardless of what everybody else is doing, regardless of all the foul, you know what I'm saying, people, you know, taking the pee in the community lake, you know what I'm saying? You know, they you know, taking the pee in the well, you know what I'm saying? Like, messing up the community. So what? People pilfering, you know, borrowing, not citing sources, copycatting, you know, you name it, stealing, outright stealing. What can you do about it? Well, you can't do nothing about what everybody else is doing. You know, what are you getting to, Mike? If you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? You cannot worry about what everybody else is doing. You can't. They're gonna do what they're doing, regardless. And when they're ready to, what were we talking about? Change, they'll change. They'll change. But you gotta look at what you are doing to hinder yourself. And as a fan, what are we doing to hinder ourselves in the boxing conversation? And that can, that'll preach in your personal life. You know what I'm saying? That'll preach. But that's not what I'm here for today. I'm really just saying that, man, a lot of us are stuck in our ways. We're stuck on we in a rut, and we want to talk about the same shit all the time. Like, we want to talk about the same shit all the time. Like, I don't know about you, but if you go to, let's just say you go to the same restaurant out here in Baltimore, it's a place called Nick's. It's a place called Nick's. I don't know how much their traffic flow was, hurt by that bridge that collapsed, but I would imagine it took a little hit, but it's so good, I don't really think it did. I just think people would be like, look, I'm leaving earlier. But it's a place called Nick's, excellent seafood. Now, I can go to Nick's all the time, but I'm not gonna go there and have the calamari every time. Every time I'm gonna go to Nick's, it might be a staple. Okay, that might be because sometimes, you can do that with a calamari great. You can't get it where you're gonna have that, but then you're gonna have something else. You're not gonna have the calamari and then you're gonna do the surf and turf, and then the calamari and then you're gonna do the surf and turf, and then the calamari and you're gonna do the. You ain't gonna do the same goddamn thing. You're gonna go. You might have the calamari, and then you're gonna be like, shit, we cracking open some crabs today. I'm gonna see what's going on with the oysters. I might order some mussels. I might do the Alfredo. I'm gonna still have my calamari or whatever. Shuck the oysters, whatever. But you're not gonna go to the same place and eat the same goddamn thing every time. And if you do, I feel sorry for your lady. I'm sorry. I'm gonna frequent the spot as much as I can. It's not the same every time. Not the same. We arguing about venues. So what? You was first. You sound stupid talking about it for 2 weeks. Dumb. So what? You was first. A little birdie told you first. If a little birdie told you, you ain't the only one he told. Goofy. Like, it just don't make no sense right now in boxing conversations, man. Because I thought, like me personally, I thought that it was going to be all about the redemption story. How Ashaki, restored his glory, because that was, we know that was a robbery, and that's one of the time where boxing said, you know what, fuck that. We're going to run it right back. You know what everybody's still talking about? PBC. Tank. All day, every day. Whether they telling you he not the face of boxing, they're telling you about his business. And don't nobody really know shit. Because he don't even know. So I got frustrated because I'm like, man, listen, man, it's an audience out there. It's an audience out there. And when you cast your pearls before swine, you cast your pearls before swine. Like, when you do that, right? And then they taking the good shit and using it. They taking the good shit and using it. I don't know if y'all heard that whole segment about the pregnancies and going into fights pregnant. And I talked about that with Schofield. I talked about that with Diego Pacheco. And I brought up Jared Anderson. I don't know if y'all seen that Top Rank event. Chris Big Head Ass Mannix did the whole spill. You know who he didn't include? He just didn't include the goddamn Jared Anderson. The whole segment. So when they still in that, right? And that can reach the big stage. You can get your shit up there on the big stage saying shit like that. But when it's a champion that redeems himself, When it's a guy in Mauritania, I don't know if you've seen that. When I did a survey on the channel, I think it was around about 27 to 29 people took the survey, and everybody thought it was O'Shaquie. Everybody thought it was going to be O'Shaquie or Kid Austin. Well, guess what? It was Raymond Mauritania. That's the one who I got. And Jahad Tucker was a close second. Ain't nobody talking about Jahad Tucker finally separating himself and doing what he got to do. Where are all the videos? Didn't nobody talk about O'Shaquie Foster and him being restored back to glory? Where are all the videos? They already knocking him down the peg and saying how he ain't this and how he ain't that. I'm like, man, you got to think that man was probably stressing his life. Man, he was stressing in that fight. Because he didn't deserve to, he didn't even have to beat us. He could have been going to go get another money fight. By doing that, he could have went to go got another money fight and been doing that. Where's all the videos? I don't know if people are happy that Al was sick. I don't know if they happy that Al was down. It's like for people who can't stand the PBC, everybody always talking about him. I don't even bring them up. This weekend, what was this weekend? I believe this weekend was what? Golden Boy, the Joker, in Top Rank. Ain't nobody talking about Ali Feliz, Jan Santana. Ain't nobody giving Jahad his praises. O'Shaquie's restoring to glory. They still talking about Tank. And then when you tell the truth, oh, here you go, you just another PBC. And then people will sit around still for hours still talking about Earl. I'm like, God damn, what do you want? You want to be first? What y'all want us to paint the city red because PBC might be in trouble? You want credit for having the information first? I realize there's a lot of people, man. It's some dumbass people out here. They got all the resources in the world. And guess what they doing? They talking about the same shit as everybody else. People don't want to hear about boxing no more, man. And when people do keep it 100, you steal they shit when you need to microwave your shit for your analysis. But we don't care about boxing no more, yo. Everybody want to be Wally and Gilly and Wallow, and everybody want to be Cam and Mace. One thing I can say about Stephen A, he might have a little segment, but he still talk about the shit that the meat and potatoes of it. He still talk about the meat and potatoes of the sport. And I'm gonna tell you, I gave this example the other day. I said, you know what? You know why I stopped doing content on all you anyway? I know my old head love. I said, you know what? For me and where I'm trying to go and gain ground, just like when I put Sabril on the map, I used to put Tank up there all the time. And I said, I said, I'm not gonna be a one guy only channel. And that's real hard when somebody when somebody can just use one guy every day and people are going to go watch. That is kind of hard when you do it. I say, you know what? I don't want to be one of them channels. I want to talk about them all. That's why I say I'm the pulse. It's not just one boxer. It's whole divisions. But people taking your shit now, people talk about 140 and 154 and how, I call it murderer's row. Like, what are you talking about, B? But then when somebody want to get up there and talk to you, you ain't got no time. Like Martin. I ain't got no quality time. You ain't got no time for me? Yeah. We in a weird space, man. I could really make this a real long rant. But I'm not going to deny that I'm still a fan. Yep, I get emotional about boxing. It's an emotional sport. You ain't going to catch me up here crying and shit because somebody kicked my ball over the fence. Oh, we realize, man, people who be talking all that shit online, man, they be the biggest baddest. In 1 minute they crying and shit. Like, I mean, like, man, come on, man. Somebody hurt, somebody getting their feelings hurt, you know what I'm saying? Them be the ones that condition and can't take it. Talking about one breath, you talk about you gonna sue somebody. Next breath, you on here crying. Like, man, boxing, man, it's an emotional sport, man. That's why people laughed at me. I heard them mocking me. I said, yeah, boxing fans. I said, boxing fans are just like boxers, almost like we get hit in the head. Cause what we at? We are with a mental thing, right? We a mental thing with this boxing thing. That's how you know when people be listening, when they mock you, they'll wait till you get right off and then do something totally contrary to what you're doing. And they mock you. But they listening, but it don't make no sense because all they be on is some dumb shit too. We are not getting anywhere, man. If y'all notice, it's a campaign. It's a campaign for this overseas stuff. So when I stopped doing stuff on Naoya, because I say, you know what, for where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do over here, yes, I can break down the films and I can do the analysis on the fights. But for me to do it all, like for me to do it on a regular basis, it ain't gonna do nothing, man. All it's gonna do is give all the people that's gonna microwave their shit my talking points. One, that's all it's gonna do. Because they're gonna get paid. I'm not gonna get paid for it. It's gonna do that, but then it's gonna create a space like most of these channels they do videos about this subject, and that's what the subject is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about this subject, but it's a loaded video. I'm trying to tell y'all something. It's a loaded video because that's not really what they really want to talk about. They want to attract people in. Like, why I don't never hear from no Anyway fans? Why I don't never hear from no? See, I mean, even because ain't no Abdullah Mason fans calling in. No, duh. Because a lot of these places, you're conditioned to think one way. If you sitting around getting inundated and you part of a cult, you are conditioned to think and respond a certain way. You already know, because soon as somebody say something that makes some sense, but it's for the other guy, you'll see, oh Lord, here we go in the comment section. That's across the board. It's not just one elephant out this motherfucker. It's a herd. I'm talking about with the biggest and the bad ones. It's a herd, bro. Those are not free thinking, like they're not free thinking, critically thinking people. They're not. But if you say you do a show, let's say you do a show about Anyway, you're a large channel. All the large channels been shitting on Anyway. They weaponize Anyway. They weaponize Anyway. Millers, I see your comment, but I'm thinking I could see I got a mic check when I first came in, so there might be, you might have to come out and come back in or do something like that, because that happened to me when I be watching sometimes. But if a large channel does a product about somebody like an Anyway, right? Because they shit on him every time they get and they weaponize him, they'll weaponize him to say, oh, Tank ain't gonna do that. But like they don't even want Tank to fight nobody at 130 below him. All of a sudden, because Naoya Anyway is in his 5th weight classes, which should jump up to 8 weight classes. That'll be his 8th weight classes if you go up there and do that to Tank. 7th if they meet at 30. He'll get all the credit in the world. They don't make no sense. I caught a lot of flack with that footage. I said, yeah, Anyway gonna stop that boy. It's about an hour and a half drive from me from Baltimore to Philly. I can get right on the highway, be over there in an hour and a half. He right there. I wanted to give him all the credit in the world, but when I heard him, and then I seen his camp, and they said, oh yeah, he a hype job. I said, man, y'all setting this man up for failure. Then they went into all the gloves and all this, and then they started getting into all this, oh, you don't know what he's taking, and you don't know. It's like, man, like, come on, B. Come on, B. Come on, B. People don't want to talk about boxing, man. They're loaded. They be loaded. Like they if you a fan of such and such, it's like no wonder why people are not just openly doing videos about Abdullah Mason. Why? Because they shoving Kermel Moton down your throat. And in the grand scheme of things, when you put them all on the scale, they're still growing and building and developing. They shouldn't even be on that. You should be having your eyes on them, but it's been conditioned. Ain't nobody going to jump out there and say nothing about Mason. Wasn't nobody going to jump out there and do all day anyway. You see what they did with Subriel. Subriel Matias was the legit boogeyman. Ain't like he got beat down. He didn't get knocked upside his head. Richardson Hitchens won with Lemos. He got buzzed. He got, he did whatever. He didn't get knocked down. He didn't get shot on his ass back. But the standards are different. The standards are different. So I find it ironic that all of these people that were shitting on anyway, they're gonna look real dumb, and they are already looking dumb. That's why I say, man, I sit back and I'm just a recorder, bro. I told you I just want to be the Lloyd Banks of this shit, man. I'm here to put stakes in the ground, and for somebody, just, that bookstore. I always say I'm like that novelty bookstore, man, where it's like, yeah, it's back in the cut. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's off in the cut. It's bubbling. It's doing what it need to do. It's it's moving. But it's a staple. It's not McDonald's that's on every corner, every city. It's not in every city. It's not Walmart. It's not Amazon. It's not. It's a specialty channel here to put stakes in the ground. Because all of a sudden, Subriel Matias, he ain't shit. He lost a decision, he ain't shit. Even though he done sent one up. Your favorite fighter couldn't even bust a goddamn grape in a fruit fight. Tank said this pillow-fisted middleweight he rehydrated to middleweight and couldn't bust a goddamn grape. Subriel Matias, no matter how untechnical he is, he sent one up. He was damaging people, making people retire. All of a sudden, he get outboxed. He have a bad night. He go to it. Now he ain't nothing. Matchroom and them dropped him. They was doing the same thing with anyway. Anytime somebody over there was trying to give him shine, oh man, you don't even know him. You don't even. I guess we don't know Tim Tszyu. We didn't know Costa Tszyu. We didn't see what Costa Tszyu did to big ass head Zab Judah. We didn't see him when he told him don't play with match. When Zab got up talking about don't play with matches. We didn't see that, huh? We didn't know nothing about Costa Tszyu, huh? We didn't know nothing about Tim Tszyu. We had to because y'all shoved Kambosos down our neck when it was convenient to put on knee pads for Devin. So a lot of people had broadened their horizons on this boxing shit. A lot of people, I know myself, I spent a lot of time, going into it and diving in and watching the people across the pond. Anytime you try to give them some shot, oh man, you only saying that, and then you have people over here that know that they're always going to have a lane being the contrary. They know no matter whenever Tank got something going on, they're going to be doing the opposite end. Regardless, it don't matter who. They was with it when he was going to fight Conor Ben and jump up from 35 to 47, but we couldn't ask Devin to fight Boots to save his goddamn life. But people are looking real funny now when they want to dick ride anyway for getting a turkey deal. So if anyway wasn't shit and he wasn't about this and he wasn't doing that, it's like, oh, okay. So him doing his own thing at home, and I'm like, well, dang, that was the second time it's been sold out since Tyson did that to Buster. Or Buster did that to Tyson. What he did to Fulton, and some people had Fulton on their pound for pound list. That shit switched up mighty quick. Caught all the hate for telling the truth. But now you see these people creeping up, and they ain't creeping out of their crevices because they elephants. They can't hide. They've been shitting on them openly, so now I watch they about to dick ride them. You know what I'm saying? Knee pads, throat coat, all that because he got to deal with Sheik. So now the Sheik giving them, you know what I'm saying, the contract. Now everybody about to jump on the back. But I thought he wasn't this. I thought he wasn't that. The man was in his 5th weight class, double undisputed back to back. And a lot of people, this is a loaded thing. If they talk about him, it's loaded. Because the only reason why they really going to shit on him is because they don't want you to be able to say that his run was better than Bud's. That's the elephant in the goddamn room. That's the elephant in the room. That's the elephant in the room. People don't want to talk about boxing, man. They want to ride a wave. They want to be right. I don't know what we arguing about. We arguing about one fighter changing the venue. We talking about PBC, and then I was like, okay, they used to say PBC wouldn't let nobody go over nowhere and do nothing. Then when everybody started going somewhere and doing something, they're like, oh, what's wrong with the PBC? It's like, damn. Never mind the fact that people are getting out and about and fighting elsewhere, but the attention was still to shit on PBC. And when you can't understand that, they say you just a PBC fanboy. No, I'd rather focus on the fact that these dudes are still staying active. When this was announced, when we knew he had a hit list, and then all of a sudden we came up with Roach, that became a hot. Oh man, why Roach? Why Roach? It's like the world stopped and everybody was talking about Tank opponent. If he ain't shit, why everybody worried about his opponent and how much he make and how much he get guaranteed? Why you gotta convince somebody that they ain't that he ain't the face? That's all we've been hearing ever since we heard about Roach. But I swear, it was a couple people out here that actually probably relieved themselves when they found out that the fight was postponed or it was on shaky ground or whatever it was. I bet you they probably relieved themselves. And I was just like, wow. I said, see, I'm not a hater to the extent to where I would celebrate a fight getting canceled or postponed. Because at my core, I'm a boxing fan before I'm a boxing fan of any fighter. So it let me know something. But it's already been concerned. It's already been confirmed. Some people hate Tank more than they love boxing. They hate Earl more than they love boxing. They hate PBC and Al more than they actually love the sport. More than they love the sport. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy. You're not a boxing fan. You're a hater at the core. Why? Because anything they say or do, they was crying, oh man, this is the only free card. This is the only free card they got. What wound up happening on that free card? What wound up happening? What wound up happening? There I said, we damn near got a boogeyman. Dare I say, we damn near got a boogeyman in Bakran Murtazaliev. He looking the same goddamn way as Subriel Matias. And you know what? I'm about to start doing videos about him. Same way I did with Subriel Matias. I'm about to start doing it. Because ain't nobody saying his name. But people celebrated with this. People celebrated with this. And when they found out that got postponed, they celebrated. They relieved themselves. So I'll start taking a look at the boxing stock market. I kept it because, you know, if you talk about the stock market of boxing and these stocks, one, you got to look at what they really do. Like when you really, so if you really do, it's going to be a couple people. I know AC, he going to be on it because he follows along. He's a critical thinker. But if you following along with the matchups and the moves and all that, if you're looking at it beforehand, before the fight, after the fights, you will have a true gauge as to where all these boxers are at. However, you still have to take in public perception. You still have to take in public perception. Because this was the thumbnail for it, right? I said pressure. Pressure was on these guys. The two on the left is at 35. It was major pressure on them guys. So Floyd Schofield, even though he won in handy fashion, he got a knockdown. He showed that he can't stick to a game plan. He showed how undisciplined he was. But it was never a dull moment in that fight. And even though it was never a dull moment in that fight, there was a little bit of chaos in that fight. He still won. I heard people saying they thought he lost. He still won the fight. He should have never got hit like that and never put himself in a position like that to get knocked down. What his father wanted to see was for him to go in there, execute the game plan, frustrate this guy. When the dude get reckless, you sit on some shit and put him down. And when he go down, he going out because you finally caught him at the right time. You made him work. You made him follow you around. You frustrated the hell out of him. You made him get unsloppy. Instead, he got off his game plan. So even though he won and almost pitched the shutout aside from the knockdown, the public opinion is saying, oh man, he ain't ready. Public opinion is saying, nah, he ain't ready. If he'd have went in there and looked like, man, I touch this dude whenever I want, and I'm sitting him down, and I'm making him look stupid, to where Renee just got out of line and just did something crazy, and then he sparked him. He really like sparked him. But see, what it did for me was it made me question his power. Because I know some fighters to where they can't touch you that many times and you still be able to fight. Hell, Subriel Matias is like that. He cannot. You can say what you want. You can be in there and look like that shit don't hurt. It's proven. It's proven. You get so tired. David Benavidez is just like that too. You get so tired of getting hit everywhere and everywhere so hard that you just break down. And if they catch you in the chin or do a body head, it's the sweet science. Subriel made somebody shit in their corner. Fight was over. Schofield's stock may have taken a hit, but in this crazy boxing world, because of YouTube and all this and all that, like, yeah, it's content. It's content. I see somebody already jumping. I already see somebody already got their leg over the fence. Somebody already got their leg over the fence. I'm like, shame on you, man. Take your leg, man. Stay on that side where you been at. You know what I'm saying? It's going to look real weird, man. You start talking all weird now, man. Schofield's stock may have taken a hit, but social media is going to pump him up because it's content. You know what I'm saying? People still calling that man father a woman. You know what I'm saying? This is the climate, like openly. Like calling that man father a woman by a woman's name. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Dressing him up in drag now. Same way they did Shakur that time. Dressed him up in drag, man. They did it with Tank. They did it with Bud. Dressed him up in drag, bro. I don't agree with that, man. But his stock may have taken a hit. But if you listen to what Oscar says, and it goes in line with, because, you know, I was having this conversation the other night, and I was saying that, man, some of these guys, I hate to say it, who look like me, man, they don't have as much room for error to be able to do that, just for them to say, all right, we're going to put you on the back burner. And don't make me start giving examples like Speedy Rashidi Ellis and Blair Cobbs. And remember, Lamont Roach was over there too. So let me not start giving too many more examples how we don't really have it. We don't really have that opportunity. But Virgil, he can, you know what I'm saying, he can go through the adversity, rhabdomyolysis 3 times, and, you know, push back after push back and still get pushed to the front. Alexis Rocha getting pushed. Seen a good large campaign for him. So my thing to Schofield was he needed to go in there and be a technician and show that he's ready for the next one. But he his own promoter. So I'm not gonna argue with nobody about how Schofield, because I still think he'll be a dangerous fight for Shakur because of his awkwardness and his willingness to take the risk. But that's the thing. When you got somebody that's willing to take the risk, well, he's gonna try to knock you out. And if you don't put him down or stop him or do something crazy, and you know what I'm saying, and muzzle him, he gonna do everything he can to do it. So I still think it's a dangerous fight, but you just gave Oscar an excuse to put you to say, C minus. I don't know. Maybe we have to go back to the drawing board, and we maybe we have to relook at some things. You know, I thought there was a lot that he could clean up, man. I really do. I think there was a lot that he could clean up on, man. And I don't know. You know, you don't need that. You didn't need that kind of performance. But overall, when you look at it, from a boxing period standpoint, he made a lot of mistakes. He still got a lot of things to work on. But all in all, he still won that fight. That fight wasn't, I mean, other than him almost, you know what I'm saying, him getting hit, him getting put down for a second, and him being reckless, fighting with a guy that'll get nasty, get dirty, you know what I'm saying? He you know, it was more adversity, but he's starting to be the adversity kid between the cuts, the lunging in, the undisciplined. You know, he does enough to make the fight interesting enough to where you like, I'm gonna keep watching. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but then it get to a point where it's like, oh man, no, man. Now you're going, now the performance is taking a turn, because that first round, them first couple rounds, he looked crispy as shit. I said, if he do that all night, man, it's over before the 6th. He was looking crispy them first, and then it was like, nope, you want it. And then at the end, he said, no, I didn't listen. I wanted to give the fans something. Okay. The example I'll be giving is when Devin Haney did that shit, and he tried to give the fans, well, he did it twice. We're not going to talk about this last time when he tried to give what he thought the fans wanted. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to talk about that time, because there was Ostarine. Ostarine. You know what I'm saying? That Ostarine will turn a C-level average fighter into a star. That's why they call it Ostarine. Spelled like that too. The first time he tried to give the fans what he wanted, Linares almost cleaned his clock. So that's a lesson that Sko got to go through. Kid Austin, he got to go through that. That's his stop. Raymond Moratia. Raymond Moratia was a guy that I said that they called in. I called it special delivery. I said they ordered special delivery for this guy. He was like 3 inches taller, 2-3 inches taller, and then he had like 7-inch arm reach over this guy. And Raymond Moratia is big as shit. He really should be at 40, bro. He really should be at 40. He went in there and he basically went in there and just splackled the dude. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. He left nothing up to question. He didn't get no rounds in there, so people were like, oh, Mo, you need to work on this. You need to work on that, because they still harboring the whole, you know, fight that he had with Tevin Farmer. And I'm like, man, Tevin Farmer is a defensive technician. You know what I'm saying? You cannot gauge his performance against, you know, Tevin Farmer and think that something with one of these other guys is going to be different. Tevin Farmer is a defensive specialist. He was inactive. Maybe if he was a little bit more in his game, would have gave Moratia a little bit more problems. But it was 2 drops before the ref said, stop. Moratia did exactly what he needed to do. Exactly what he needed to do. He has cornrow Moratia now, man. The cornrows, he went to the cornrow image. You know what I'm saying? And I was saying, man, that's a serious dude. You could tell his energy. He is not playing. And see, you can see some flaws in some of the things that he do, whatever. But the fact that he's so serious, and he in there with Robert Garcia and them, the fact that he's so serious, he's not pussyfooting around. He is serious. His stock went up. Why? Because he showed it was crowd pleasing. He didn't play with his food. He finished his plate. He left nobody with anything else that they could say. And that's why I say, do not criticize the guys that prefer the knockout artists. And they say, oh, it's called boxing. It's called boxing. It's not called knockouts. Well, yeah, I mean, football ain't called touchdowns. Football ain't called touchdowns, but you go to a goddamn game and ain't no touchdowns, it's nothing but field goals. And you see what you gonna be like, oh man, all this defense, like, yeah, you're gonna be saying, yeah, in boxing it's more important because it's somebody's life. But it really should be called touchdowns because people don't go there to look at no field goals. So don't knock the people who prefer the knockout artists, which means that you can box. You might be a boxer puncher, you might be a pure boxer, whatever, but you know how to make adjustments and end the contest. That's all it is. Because when you knock out somebody and when you stop him, if you make the ref intervene, you're like, you know what? We don't need to see no more. Let me go ahead and master this thing and end the contest. We're not gonna move the goalposts and have people doing a tight ride. Like, no, if you look back at here, no, we're not gonna look back at history. We're gonna look at it fight by fight. The guy who can figure his opponent out and render him unconscious long enough or dazed enough to where he don't beat the 10 count. The referee has seen that he is taking too much abuse, or his corner say, no, you see that towel. That's ending the contest. It's a brutal sport. And those guys, they don't get robbed by the judges. So don't, and it's a crowd pleasing thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I think them gladiators, I ain't think them gladiators, you know what I'm saying, will want them guys to go in there and run the line around to where he fall asleep and they get the rest. The show wouldn't know. They wanted to see that action. Ain't nothing changed. Jahad Tucker. My only criticism for Jahad Tucker going into it was, I said, man, maybe his body could have been a little more body-wise. I don't know. I don't know how his conditioning. I know he a young boy. He a young boy and he probably still growing, but I'm proud of him because unlike, some other people, he jumped up early and got it to his proper weight class. And all I had been saying was, man, get your signature image. Like, how Shockey got an image, like when you see him, he got a style, a forte. Get your signature image. You know what I'm saying? Like, get your signature image and then let your signature image start shining, and then make your performance, make people put people on notice. And he did it. He did it. Now, if the ref would have let him come back out one more round, it would have been it would have been like the Mortalia. But the fact that he was like, nah, you know what I'm saying, it was over. That's all I wanted to see from him. That's all I wanted to see from him. People can say, oh, man, his technique and this and that. That's really what I wanted to see. And his father going to help him with the technique. You know what I'm saying? His father going to help him with whatever plan they got, his technique, because he can get it done earlier. I always say I hate to agree with Tim on this one, but I do agree with Tim on this one. Turning over shit, putting his knuckles, into it. You know what I'm saying? Not slapping, not, fully turning over, sitting down, like the technique, the follow through. He got it all, man. He got quick strike ability, man. He got that Cobra-like, man. He's dangerous, man. He is dangerous. Like some of the things on defense, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he just felt that comfortable with that guy, but he fights. He kind of remind me, like he kind of remind me, he's not as technical as Charlo. But he kind of remind me of the way that Charlo fight. Like Charlo gonna fight with passion. You know what I'm saying? He gonna go in there and he gonna fight with passion. Like that's what, like his personality outside people. I don't know who Jahai is outside the ring like that, but he kind of embodies that style where he gonna fight with passion. You know what I'm saying? Once his technique get a little bit more cleaner, you know what I'm saying? He starts sitting down on shit. He settled down a little bit. Ain't nobody. They always saying they don't want nobody really want to see him. His stock went way up not way up because I already had him as being nice. He took the road less traveled. You know what I'm saying? He's my kind of guy because, them elevators, man, they can break down. You can get stuck. You know what I'm saying? But them stairs, they healthy. You know what I'm saying? They build you. And it's like he taking the stairs, but he grabbed his nuts when he jumped up all them weight classes. And his style has evolved because when he was a smaller guy, so he fought more swift and moved from side to side. As he got bigger, he still got good movement and rhythm, and his hand-eye coordination is out of this world, but he's still coming into his body. And the crazy thing is, man, this dude, fuck grown man strength. Just getting older and just the repetitions and the science. Like once he fully get the science behind it, oh my goodness. He just might have, he might be. I asked Darnell Boone this question. I was like, you know, being the way you were and how you fought, that's the first guy to drop Andre Ward. I was like, is it a gift and a curse, like having the kind of personality that you have where you'll fight anybody, you'll go anywhere and you'll fight anybody? Like I was like, is it a gift? He said, yeah. He said it's good because you have no fear. He was like, you'll be like, when they say let's fight, you'll always be able to get a fight. He said it's bad. He said because he realized that after that Andre Ward situation, he said my team should have sat me down. They should have pulled me down and slowed me down. You know what I'm saying? Because he could have really, like, he could have made some different moves and moved a little bit different. So them guys that have all that heart and want to fight, because I was a little nervous when he fought that Russian. It wasn't because of the skills when it came down to Jahai. It was just because, man, them some big boys, man. And you don't know, man, they might be punching whole frozen cows in the ribs over there. You don't know how they doing it over there. You know what I'm saying? You know how you doing it, but you don't know what the fuck they doing over there. And them dudes, man, they could take a licking and keep on ticking. So if you go up there early and somebody catch you the wrong way or do, you know what I'm saying, it could be bad. But like, hey, you know, that's the kind of fighter you want. That's the kind of fighter you can get behind as long as he keep, you know what I'm saying, stay focused, keep growing and keep improving. His stock went up. O'Shaquie Foster, I would say that I like his performance better the first time. I liked his first performance better. I just think that he missed some opportunities. But this time it actually confirmed that he's a cardiac kid. And I always use the comparison of the Philadelphia Eagles, man, and how it's like after B-Dog, man, after that era, it's like maybe a little bit doing that, but we were kind of always like some cardiac kids where we got it. That's why sometimes I be going by Mr. Fourth Quarter. It's not a bad thing, but sometimes it's like some people just like that, man, in life. Like it's like when you get down and it's the fourth quarter, you gonna make something shake. I think O'Shaquie got that in him, man. It's like his back got to be against the wall. He got to feel like this before he really put that extra, you know, that buckle down, that, you know, that laser light. I don't know, man, and he can do it. Because I always say the best fight I seen was about 3 fights ago of his. I think when he was over there in the Middle East. That's about the best fight I seen. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't switching crazy. He wasn't switching back and forth, but he showed everything in that fight. I was like, man, he showed me everything. And I was like, man, O'Shaquie can damn near do everything, man. It's just all in his kill switch, man. His kill switch, because the more he fight, the higher skill guys, and, you know, respect to Conceição, but you know, Conceição is he'll get up. He's a little up and down, but his activity and his output is something, and it's almost like he gets up for big fights. He kind of do really get up for big fights. He was just unskilled against Shakur, man. He was just unskilled against Shakur. Shakur just, you know what I'm saying, pin cushioned him. You know what I'm saying? Just it's us all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just pin cushion time. So, you know, Shakur showed it was level between him and Conceição. So I'm thinking, man, somebody that's a little more skilled, a high volume guy, one of them guys to where, man, if O'Shaquie ain't sitting down on shit and putting them down, then these guys can take him into deep waters, and them bigger guys like a Navarrete lean on him. You know what I'm saying? Lean on him and you know, drain his tank faster. You see how it irritated him that he was that Conceição clinched. He's like, man, he like the best in the world. He went back to the queen, like he's like the best in the world at holding, man. He invented holding, man. He was like, yeah, but then his corner finally told him, man, listen, man, I need you to drop him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to put him on his ass, Shock. I need you to put him on his ass. He was like, all right, so he went out there in 11 and got the job done. I think he had pulled it even in my book around the 10th. It was like either 9th or 10th, he had pulled it even in my book. The 11th round was when he really buzzed him, and really and from that point on, Conceição really just looked to hold. Whereas if he didn't hold so much and he didn't get buzzed like that, he might have retained that title because it was the look, it was the optics of it all that everybody was looking at. Because even though he turned it on in the championship rounds, and that's what champions do. And he, clearly won the 12th with Conceição doing more holding than actually fighting. And I think that's what didn't fare well. And O'Shaquie kind of stepped on it. He got to do something about his hair. He got to do something about his hair, man. He got to do something about that. That's the same thing I told Gary Antoine, man. You can't be having them things where them things hang right down in your eyes. And Puello, as sorry as Antoine say and how he didn't win and how this and that, I mean, Puello knocked that man braids loose, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we give respect to the people who won and won not by the judges robbing and all that. People who we see win the fight, we got to give respect to the winners. And boxing did right by getting that belt back in O'Shaquie Foster's hand. It wasn't his performance wasn't as airtight. He was Teflon Don the first night. I don't care what you say. He did Shakur better than Shakur that night. He did Shakur better than Shakur that night. He out Shakur that night, that Teflon Don night, that night when Wiley was saying, listen, man, get him out of there. Listen, man, get him out of there. And after that, Shakur was like, he hit hard. You know what I'm saying? Artem hit hard. Like, oh, man. Okay. The belt was restored, and I'm happy for him because I could see and feel the emotions when he got robbed, man, how he was looking. I'm like, man, see, that's why people go back to the streets and do something that it's not good. See, when a lot of people get to doing what they supposed to do and they in their craft and they doing everything right, and then something that's out of their control, take it out of their hands, they're going to resort to going to go do some crazy shit. I'm glad Shock is a true champion. He buckled down. He got the dub. I don't care how ugly it was. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, if they had robbed him first and some people saying they robbed Conceição, all they did was right or wrong. It's the same shit that they should have done with Conceição and Valdez because they robbed Conceição when it came to Oscar Valdez. His stock is doing good. He's at 30. People are, maybe the performance make him question. But people fight differently. I think the volume of Conceição and his boldness. Conceição fought. He kind of impressed me a little bit. He kind of impressed me. Remember, I said O'Shaquie pulled even. That was like in the 9th or 10th. I said O'Shaquie pulled even in the 9th and 10th. So Conceição actually pulled some tricks out. He used some veteran stuff. He pulled some tricks out the bag. I mean, his stamina was off the chain. Like, until he got, until that championship round when he started doing all that clinching and he got buzzed. But O'Shaquie got to go to that body, man. O'Shaquie got to go to that body, man. With a guy like that, a high volume punch, you got to get to the body somehow. So when I'm looking at the grand scheme of things in the boxing stock market with an emphasis on 135, everybody's saying Tank. All these guys get to say Tank, and Tank's looking out the landscape. We're not going to mention Roach. We're not gonna mention Roach, even though Roach is a valid champion. I just haven't done the thumbnail, and this was to mock everybody by saying it was a hit list. And this guy, he said no, and this guy went and signed elsewhere. So we got what everybody is saying, all the jokey jokes they saying, Roach. So we know, we know, well, we have an idea that got pushed back, postponed, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. However that's going or whatever that's doing. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of channels you can go, pretty much all the other channels, you can go there and hear all the details on all the other channels about that. I know nothing. I'm just waiting to hear a concrete date. And I want Tank to get back in the ring ASAP, man, because it's crazy how everybody talking about how he ain't this and how he can't pick this and that, whatever. But like, he trying to get active. He went straight for the top of the totem pole, but all of a sudden Loma aged out. Loma is aged out. You know what I'm saying? How old is Tevin Farmer? How old is Gary? I was like, man, you know what's so crazy? People were saying that he should pick Gary Russell. He should pick Gary Russell over Roach. And I'm like, Gary Russell is older than Lomachenko. But he aged him out. He's too old and he's just, all of that, whatever. So everybody's saying his name, rightfully so. And I'm like, yo, you got every right to scream out for the top, whether you ready or not. Hey, I'm not gonna get in between it, but whether you ready or not, if your hustle is like that and your business is like that and you landed, congratulations. I would never hate or shit on anybody that won the lottery. So you get that lottery ticket and you cash in, ching ching, my guy, ching ching, cash in. They all looking at him and he's looking out at the landscape. And if you notice, there's two guys I really didn't talk about yet, and that's Keyshawn and William Zepeda. William Zepeda is sitting in the driver's seat, and it's more and more I'm looking at it, it's more and more looking like it is going to be Shakur. In my heart of hearts, I believe it, even though I have trust issues when it comes down to Oscar and his guys and him letting them really finally get off the pot, because I bring up the whole Jaime Munguia situation, how long they coddled him. I think he was up 40-something fights. Zerto, he was up at 40-something fights before they really popped the trade. They had a little name or two, but like it was nothing, like they didn't get none of the criticisms that the little guy 35 gets. But I'm like, damn, when they gonna get off the pot? If you look at Boots and his whole thing, they saying he ain't. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, you know, different strokes for different folks, I guess. But Zepeda, I think he's gonna get it on for Shakur's WBC. That's what I believe. I think that it's gonna be up to Keyshawn's performance when it comes down to Keyshawn's performance, as opposed to what Raymond Moratia just did. Because I think that Raymond Moratia is like up next for that Baranchek fight. I think it's Raymond. I think they trying to see, because they see Shakur leaving out the picture, it still left 3 people with 2 pair of draws. Baranchek and Loma, and they not going to force Loma. And if you think Loma going to take one of these young guys, like a guy like any one of these young guys right here, if you think he going to take any one of them young guys and not Tank, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I know the IBF, it says it was met, but I'm thinking he got a year, so that'll be a year from when he fought Kambosos. So they saying it was met. You know, that's what it say. So that's a year. I'm thinking he gonna do a voluntary. He gonna pick a guy that kind of got some kind of name, or I mean, they might who knows, man? Like with Loma being out and him being over there, and them doing this Naoya stuff, man. It's shit. Loma and Naoya. Who knows? Loma and Naoya. I'm just playing, but I don't know. If it happens, don't be surprised. I don't know. I don't know shit. I'm just saying that seemed like something that he'll do. If he say it ain't about the money with Tank, and then, you know, if they make him an offer that he can't refuse, but see, Tank would be legacy. You'll be able to put the first blemish on there, knock him down. Like you would have, you know, drop him, stop him, you know what I'm saying? Like you did Kambosos, right, Loma? You better do something. So it's he turned down legacy and money. He gets no flack. Oh, he's already did enough. He can just go and do it. And all right. He's gonna ride off in the sunset. So I don't think they can make Loma do anything. It's all gonna be on Baranchek. But according to everything I see, it looked like Moratia is ahead. Now Keyshawn goes in there and spikes Lemos, it's gonna get interesting. Because I'm thinking that's the one. Remember when I did this? That's the one when I ordered these stuff. This was on September 24th when I put this out there, when I was putting these pieces together. I said, yeah, he's getting Lemos, right? Which is a worthy opponent, really worthy opponent. Very dangerous fight. Very, very dangerous fight. He's calling out the Vargas, and so that's the brothers and brothers. Not saying that fight's going to happen next, but just the build up, just the story of the rivalry building. That's legacy type. That's because they brothers, you brothers against brothers. That'll be crazy. So you doing what you need to do in that aspect. And I said, man, maybe if he do the Lemos thing, they're going to get Baranchek. Well, just this past weekend, a lot of people came out with that news. Confirmation or regurgitation. It was a regurgitation. So when I'm looking at the stock market, it's like, man, I got to take those things in consideration, man. I be putting the stakes in the ground, man, putting it out there with all the information. With all the information as far as the rankings and public perception and actual moves. Not my source. I don't have a source. I don't have nobody that work with PBC. I don't have nobody that work with nobody. I don't have that. I don't have none of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get interviews. But no inside sources. This is just from paying attention. But it's crazy how people with inside sources be posting shit up like a month and a half later than I do without any inside sources. That's kind of crazy though. So what I'm saying is, man, this is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie, that fact-based content, not opinion-based. The alternative to opinion-based. I'm gonna wrap up with Shakur. Here in a second. Now I wanted to set something up for y'all. I wanted to set something up for you. Let me see. We got a comment. Question. Let's say Key goes out and sparks Lemos early and impressively. Do you think WBC might order Shakur versus Key to push Shakur out at 35? I doubt it. I doubt it, man. I doubt it, man. I doubt it. I'm gonna come back with Key though. Here, I'm gonna show y'all this. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna come back to this. Hold on, real quick, y'all. Let me do this. Appreciate y'all for rocking out with your boy, man. If you're listening to this on the playback, talk to me. I'll talk back. But check this out, y'all. This is my commercial. This is my new commercial right here.
Listen, this is a heavy bag. Now, listen, work with me. Muhammad Ali's nephew's cousin's little sister's friend gave me the idea that, listen, it's okay if I could put Ali on here and you get all the benefits, you know, as if he signed it himself. I promise you, I swear it's 100. I'm gonna be raffling this off. If you want it, hit me up. Let me know. I'll get that out to you. And pretty much whatever money we get back, what we gonna do? We're gonna give it to one of the hottest boxers in the nation. Up and coming. We won't until we get the monies in. Once we get the monies in, then we'll figure out and we'll let everybody know when we get around to let you know where the money's gonna go. But remember, Muhammad Ali's, you know who it was. It's gonna have Ali on it. Permission. Let me know. Thanks for choosing Bobby.
Oh my God.
Who want to see that again, man? Anybody want to see that again? Or that's just me, man. Anybody want to see that again? If you want to see that again, put it in the chat. If not, I'm gonna come out and we're gonna talk, man. Anybody want to see it again? No. Okay. All right. I'm here. Salute to Crush. Salute, salute. Appreciate you for coming through and hollering, man. But yeah, there go the link, man. If anybody got anything they want to put, you know, I try to keep these at an hour, man, with my piece. I could have went in to do some articles, but why read an article on some shit that I done said a couple days ago? Let's see, we got let's see. What's good, AC?
What's good, man? Salute, man. Salute to the chat, man. Salute to everybody. Yeah, it was a great cook, man. A lot of good points made tonight. When I just asked the question because I'm just trying to just pose a different dynamic. You feel what I'm saying? Like, is it good for Shakur right now to be at 35?
No, and that's the whole thing. That's the only one I said I was going to get at him. And let me see, not get at him like that, but I said I was going to address his aspect. But let's look at it. Let's look at it and where I have him here. See, you see where he's at as far as the trend. He's up because he had the privilege of nobody's counting the fact. No, nobody is counting the fact that he didn't put another installment in on his catalog.
Yeah.
So he's playing the sideline. So he has the advantage of it, just like the person who wasn't at practice and they show up but they can't get in. So then they talk about, oh man, you should have caught that pass. You should have been at practice. Like, you should be putting in another installment. But the way YouTube is, he get to sit back and twiddle his thumbs and clown Floyd and clown everybody. You know what I'm saying? Did you see anything about Morataya?
Nope.
That's interesting. You ain't hear nothing. It was crickets when it came to Morataya, right?
Yep. Him and Bakaram is crickets right now.
That's kind of crazy. So Schofield, okay, no, I'm gonna leave it alone. But he had the benefit of being able to stay home and Twitter, and he's big clout right now. He's big. He's clout points. He getting all the clout points. He getting all the clout. But what's gonna be bad? What's gonna be bad is if Zepeda goes in there with Tevin Farmer, and he wins that fight. Oh man, because he's gonna learn something from being in the ring with Tevin Farmer, and he'll be at that point he will had his first performance post baby. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a baby when you're pregnant, so he would have had his, because people were saying with Tevin Farmer, post baby and staying busy, because remember he's the mandatory, and it should be Shakur, but Shakur ran to go get Cordina, so he's gonna have more activity, and if it is Shakur, then he's going into the fight as far as preparation, activity, and all that. He's gonna kind of have an up on Shakur, because if you look at the
advantage. I say quite the advantage.
Yeah.
Because he's got momentum behind him. He'll be coming off a solid victory. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever his performance is, I'm not going to say it's going to be solid or whatever, but I'm just saying it as a possibility. Let's say it is a solid performance and everything. You got to look at stylistically similar styles. So little things that Shakur might do, he'll be able to read, because he also just fought another defensive technician.
Yeah. And Crush say ain't no 4 kings in this generation. What the it ain't no 4 kings. That's why I've been stopped saying it. But I say it because that's what people were saying, as far as they were 4. I'm like, well, as far as the criteria, because the people that they were labeling it, T.O. and Ryan and Devin and Tank, people still want to see them fight. So I say it to reference what they were saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like right now, it looked like they're like a king and a bunch of people trying to like gunning for the throne, like almost. But I don't know how they really gunning, because they don't really want to take each other out, man. Like they don't want to take each other out, man. Like this need to be a soft situation, man, where these guys, have to be put up against some shit where they really gotta, like, damn near hurt themselves to get, to get free, like to get what they really want, because it's so relaxed now. Like everybody just let Shakur just you look at him and talk and like his stock, and you reiterate this all the time, which I always have to consider. You say public perception.
Yeah, reality is public. Public perception is reality.
And especially as people starting to go to streaming, it's not about this. Look, the game, because just like the game, every day the labels and everybody in the business are looking for people that's tired of football, tired of basketball, that's like, all right, I'm gonna go into boxing. That's what they're catering to. And they're catering to the people that, I'm gonna be in this city this weekend, I want to go there. They're not catering to the hardcore fan. Once I understood that, I relaxed from a business standpoint somewhat. But the fighters, man, if they can cater to a streaming market, and they know, okay, well, shoot, out of this market, we want to get this many people, not necessarily boxing fans, just people from this platform that's going to shuffle traffic into it. Those are not boxing fans. So you know what Content Credit is doing? They're not making content for hardcore boxers no more. They're making it for casuals, because that's who are coming in and don't know. Oh, you ain't know that? Oh, yeah. And so they can start the narrative. They can paint it and do whatever, but people who've been paying attention know what's going on.
And act like they have a their thumb on the pulse of boxing. So
Exactly.
yeah, I got my insiders, and but all you doing is regurgitating everything on the surface. You're not digging below that. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So if everybody's taking remedial math, who's doing calculus? Who's doing algebra and trigonometry?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get that part, and that's why I just said, you know what? Let me fall back with my old school ways and just understand what the fuck's going on, because you know everybody is like jockeying for that thing is like the influencer. I want to be the boxing influencer. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm a fighter, but I'm also trying to be an influencer. So I'm bringing more people into the fold, which is nothing wrong with that. You got to go after the new. You got to go after the new fans, or the fans that are not necessarily interested or were prior boxing fans, but then got stolen by MMA, and now you trying to bring them back by just being a little bit more exciting than your average MMA fighter. So that's the way I see it, and I'm just like, you know what? I really don't have an issue with it. Just regulate it and everything, and let's not try to create narratives. Let's just understand what it is you're doing. Give us a game plan. Well, listen, at the end of the day, this is what I'm trying to do. If these niggas hear this shit, yo, I'm after this dude, that dude, and that dude. That's my agenda. If I could get my team to put those fights together, this is what I want to do, y'all. But you don't got these guys coming out making videos like that. Yeah, Key is trying to say it here and there. You feel what I'm saying? But definitively saying, yeah, once I knock off these two guys, then I'm gonna make another video and say, yeah, these are the next three guys that are on my list. And hopefully my team can put that together. You know, the promoters see that it makes sense and everything, and we'll see where these planes land. And the fans will be like, yo, I'm following that dude 24/7, 365. If he want to go to the dark side of the moon, I'm rocking with him because he let me know what he want to do. Again, flashing back to why, you know, Errol Spence had the dedicated fans that he had, because he showed them, listen, I'm going to do these three things.
Yep.
And then he did those three things.
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna be mad and say that man not a dog? That man don't deserve a second and third and even a fourth look. Like, bro, there's nothing wrong with Spence. I'm still a fan of Spence.
So help me with this, because I struggle, because I actually make the content, and I try to be as unbiased. You see me, I give credit to, I got fighters on all these different promotional companies. I'm not a one fighter guy. I got fighters on all of them. You know what I'm saying? But help me understand what's going on, because I'm looking at it like it seems like people are rejoicing that PBC is going down, but then it's like they happy hours out. I'm trying to get a pulse on like what is like. You knew that they was going out of business, but how, as a fan, like how is that important to us in the fights? Like I'm missing something, man, because I'm like, maybe I'm so far removed from the conversation, I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation, because I'm like, all right, if PBC goes under, right, then we only have really 1.25 joints that's actually making big boxing matches here in America, and that's just Top Rank. And well, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say Top Rank in the zone 2.25. The quarter I'm gonna say is Pro Box. But at the end of the day, it's like, listen, we keep losing American fighters. We keep losing avenues for these American fighters to fight on. What do you think is going to happen to American boxing? You dudes, I mean, I don't have a problem with PBC. I'm still a person that still believes that, you know, when PBC puts on a card, they put on a card. That's a card right there. You feel what I'm saying? I don't hate PBC because I was a Terrence Crawford fan. I don't hate Al Heyman because Terrence Crawford was fighting Errol Spence. I'm like, where do you guys get that? That has nothing. Well, it's PBC and PB. Listen, that's the way shit goes in boxing.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you? I'm like, I don't be understanding because I'm like, people don't want to be media, and it's like you don't want to be media, but then so you're supposed to be unbiased, but like I be trying to figure out. I'm an end goal kind of guy. Like that's why I say I had to refocus just to keep my sanity, and I had to reduce it down to this. I keep shit binary. Balls going in holes, soccer balls going in goals. You know what I'm saying? All the other shit in between it, does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Does it matter?
I'm the same way. I'm like, look, I've always said this on every channel. Hindsight is 20/20. We could bitch and argue about fights and shit like that. Dudes was at each other's throats over Deontay Wilder and AJ. Did we ever get that fight?
Nope.
So what was all of that for? Nothing. And once I figured that out, I said, you know what? I'm done with the tribalism. I'm going to talk about, for me, I'll entertain you to a certain degree, but I'm more focused on what actually happened. You could debate with me all nuances and, possibilities and shit like that. But when it really comes down to it, let's just talk about what actually happened.
Let's just be deliberate about our agendas.
Yeah.
Like so if you're gonna all of a sudden, if you're gonna start really peeling back the layers and analyzing Inoue versus Bud, do a debate on it. Who got the better legacy and why right now? Who got but they don't do that.
Yeah.
They'll just act like, oh yeah, Inoue is this and they got this disdain for him, but it's a disdain because they want to make sure that Bud is just the number. It's like the shit is gonna play out the way it's gonna play out. We can't do nothing. They gotta get in the ring and fight. We can't fight for none of them.
Yeah.
And the fight's gotta happen, and then legacy can't be determined until they hang up the gloves.
Yeah, I've had Bud buddies get mad at me. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm telling them Bud is not getting fighter of the year. Because understand the words, fighter of the year. Inoue got his undisputed in 2 fights in 1 year. Bud just had a fantastic performance.
Yep.
What are you telling me, my God? Let's just be fans. We're all Bud fans here, but we don't gotta say, nah, fuck that. Bud is just listen. He's not gonna get it. There. I can name at least 2 other fighters that might deserve fighter of the year over Terrence Crawford. And these other 2 fighters are not champions. They just had outstanding performances, stellar knockouts, back to back, and they fought twice in that year.
And I'm gonna tell you why I don't even do. I want to do it, but I don't do content on Bud because it'll attract people, and then when you start talking about it, it's like he don't deserve no fight, and he ain't this. He couldn't wipe the spit off Bud's shoes or boots, and I'm like, okay, so he ain't nobody worthy to fight him. All he want is Canelo, but Canelo was not looking that way. So what we gonna talk about for the whole hour and a half? What we gonna chop it up about? Like, he's great. Like he's great. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like when you start, that's why I know that like people don't. They like people who have caught themselves up in this whole I'm gonna bandwagon the winner type thing. Like whoever when it's all said and done, I'm just gonna bandwagon the winner. And sometimes you can do that. Like you can be like, okay, like when Benavidez finally won me over, I said I ain't going too much better against Benavidez. I'm gonna give Benavidez the benefit of the doubt, and it took me a long time. But when I finally, went over, and it's like it went reverse for Caleb Plant. I was champion Caleb Plant all the way up, and I saw something. I said, well, nah. I already see like it's not what I think. Like Caleb ain't what I think. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of went in reverse on Caleb, and I flipped over on Benavidez, but Benavidez earned it.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm about progress and making some things happen. Like I'm not gonna sit up here and get in art, because that's people get so divided over that. It's just like when you tell somebody, hey, I don't want no pork on my pizza. Oh, what's wrong with pork? It's like I just don't want no pork on my pizza. Yeah. We already be divided over the simplest shit, so you can't even have a real conversation. Okay, well, let's talk about his legacy. Let's look at this. Let's look at this person. Let's look at that person. Let's look at every opponent and what was going on. Let's do it line by. Oh no, see, there you go with that. It's like, okay, so what we gonna talk about?
Yeah.
What we gonna talk about?
Because then, like, we have to. If this is your guy, you want to sit up here in a bubble and just regurgitate what everybody else is saying. Yeah, I want to piggyback off of what you just said because I think you was right and yada yada yada, this and that. And it's like, okay, so when are you gonna tell me your thoughts? Like, what are your thoughts on it? No, I just told you. No, you didn't. You told me what everybody else said. I just want to hear your thoughts, whether it's crazy or not, whether it don't matter. Because you could say something and I'll be like, I could see where you're coming from with that perspective. I don't necessarily agree, but I could see where you're coming from with that. That's why I try these days to not to get too frustrated with people that just want to come up and just say stuff. Like, what was the point you were trying to make? Because you just went in a round robin and just repeated everything else everybody else said. You know, I don't. There's no issue, but you know, at least try to tell me if you're disagreeing with me. Give me your own thought.
Yeah. You know? I was telling my lady. Earlier. I was like, man. I was talking about the episode yesterday, and I had to take it down because it was copyright. You know what I'm saying? It was a copyright, and I was trying to avoid that, but I had to take it down. But I was telling her, I said, you know, it's like an avalanche in boxing conversation, and when you really get down to it, because think about it, Blair was live. Like, anybody could have came, clicked the link, saw him, and people saw that he was on there. You could have came and actually talked to him, but you know what people will argue with you about? What he said in the last interview, or how they interpreted or what was said from the last interview. It's like, but he's here now, saying this on today, and doing this, but they'll be stuck. That's why I say people get stuck in the past and trying to. Now imagine there's a lot of people in relationships like that, to where it's like, I know if I find myself going back and forth, I'll be trying to figure out, and we don't do this. Like we don't go back, like because we'll get to we'll get to the bottom of that shit, and it's like what do we argue? What's the difference? We don't really have many, like, you know what I'm saying? We really don't, like, because we think a lot alike, but it's like some people just be wanting to argue or take their frustrations out, and it's like they use boxing conversations to disguise it.
Yeah, for sure. You
know, and it don't be productive. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know what I'm saying? You don't get nothing out of it. I don't, you know what I'm saying? But a waste of my motherfucking time.
Me neither. And it's crazy because me and my lady been together, what now? 6 years. We had disagreements the first 3 months. We don't argue. People can't, like, if you hear us raising our voices at each other, we're playing.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, listen, you understand me, I understand you. I can disagree with what you're saying, but that don't mean I have to argue with you, because the bigger picture is you and me moving forward. So when I look at the boxing conversation, I'm like, bro, we're all in the same boat. We may have took little different dinghies to get to this boat, but right now we're all on the same boat. All of us are heading in the same direction. We're all fans of this shit. So why should I fall victim to the tribalism or the narrative isms and go on different panels? oh, y'all niggas don't know what the fuck you talking about. Y'all niggas don't know shit about boxing, man. What the fuck is you talking about, bro? Listen, I'm trying to tell you, man, you wrong. You feel what I'm saying? Even though I'm sitting here and we done spoke to fighters, and I'm listening to a dude say, and I'm like, wow, I guess they didn't see that live when we were just chopping it up with Blair, because they just talking some crazy shit. Like, you have no idea. I actually talked to this man at least from what it is right now, at least 3 times.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's right there in front of you. Like, that's why I asked Blair. I said, man, the way they made it. He's like, you see how I was? I said, yeah, I see. That's why I want to put it on record how you were and what perception was after you left. Only for Bill to do the same thing, man. So I said, man, we in the era now. And this is the other thing. You're never gonna hear me like campaigning to outsource the work. Like, that's why I say I don't forget that it's real life out here. Like, so imagine if, like, which in your, like, in the cuisine, in the cooking, culinary, right, in that business, yeah, you can outsource certain things and you can get certain things, like for pipelines or special ingredients and things that you can only get in certain areas. You do that, but would you ever campaign for a dominant entity to be outside of where you can go, you can either drive or have access to?
Not at all.
Because look, I was in HVAC, right? They in HVAC, I've come across these like, people will get these German made product, like in Canada, like this, ironically Canadian, and they'll get these German things. And I'm like, man, I be looking at them, I be looking at the system, I'm like, what would make them get that? I'm like, because whenever there's an issue, one, the parts got to be from all the way over there, and then 2, whenever you need some service, you got to call the helpline and pray that they have somebody that's there and available, that's savvy enough to walk you through whatever you need over the phone.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I've done is try to be an ambassador for that thing over there to come here.
Yeah, like me, I support it, but I do more of a, all right, did that ball go in the hole? All right, so you get credit for that when you get, so I'm just keeping it even and then looking at, okay, if you pulling these resources from over here, you're feeding that over there, and as an American boxing fan, that don't do me no good. I'm just calling it a buck. I'm calling the buck on, like, from my perspective as a boxing fan from over here. That got misconstrued, like, oh man, you don't want Turkey to be great. You want, no, I'm not gonna kiss the ring and all that, but I'm just like, do you guys really realize, like, it the way you're, that's why I'm like, I know people be acting. I know people be on some other shit when they get online, because at your regular job, if they outsourced all the work, what would you be doing?
Yeah, ain't nobody getting paid around here.
It'll be a good opportunity for you to go, like, because sometimes sometimes there are trips where you can go, all right, well, you can go do some training over there, or you're gonna go and do an assignment over there, but then your focus is, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, so why would you give this whole entity as niche of a market full control for somebody that's not here? Like, it's like the silliest thing. I'm like, maybe I just think too much, but I mean, that's what I'm getting a lot. So everybody's campaigning like, yeah. I say, so what happened when he jumped out of the sport like he did before? Because if you think these people over here in America that already established these relationships and got these venues and all this other stuff, if you think they just gonna roll over and miss out a piece of that pie and let somebody, you sadly mistaken.
Yeah. Now here's the thing for me. I've always been 50-50 about the Sheik coming into boxing. Turki Al Sheik. You feel what I'm saying? Because one of my other hobbies is I fucks with a lot of political shit. And then,
don't say nothing crazy.
Exactly.
Streamline it, streamline it, because
so basically, when you look at those two dynamics, you're gonna be like, yeah, this part is good for boxing, but are you trying to whitewash some of that through these media channels and through these networks and shit like that? That's my only thing. It's like, what is your true intent? Because you want to do stuff over here, but all of its intent is to build up where you are, to put eyes on where you are, to let everybody know that is the playground for the uber wealthy. You go to Dubai.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, this is what you're telling me you want to do, but as far as a fan, I still got to be skeptical and saying I'm not seeing that 100%. Because you're making some of these fights, like, you can't explain to me if this is what your intent was to make the best fight. You cannot explain to me Shakur Stevenson versus Cordina, and y'all allegedly, rumor had it, y'all was going to pay that man $5 million for that fight. Who wants to see that? We wanted to see the Tank fight.
Yeah, it was more like to spurn or to kind of chastise, you know, this situation.
Yeah.
You know.
So
yeah,
you know, as fans, you know, and as Americans, we still, you know, uphold that right and question shit. You know, because if you're gonna take a journalistic perspective on it, then you gotta question the sources. Sometimes you gotta follow the money to make sure the intent is always clear and direct.
Yep.
So,
yeah, man, it's different rules in other places, man, and it's just like it's like what I'm going through right now, man. I ordered a hoodie. I ordered the Eagles hoodie. I think that was on like the 21st. Was it on the 21st? It's been a minute, man. I'm like, I'm waiting on my order. I'm like, man, did they get me? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but I can't go down. I can't go down. If I would have went down here, right down the corner and got it, I can't go and do nothing. It's like when the pandemic hit, right? And I ordered all this stuff. I had all these ideas. I was gonna do the designer mask and all. I told my man about it and all that. And I ordered some stuff. The first shipment it never came. I ordered some other shit. The shit never came. It just never came. I'm like, and I can't pull up.
Yeah. I
can't get nobody. I'm like, y'all don't think about all of the. You just looking at like, oh man, they need to get the bag. It's like, yeah, but then you complain about the time of day that they're putting on the fights, and then you complain about how long the cards are. It's like, well, you know, just
why they gotta have singers and why they gotta do
like it's. I'm just, you know, you just be reassuring me that I ain't, you know what I'm saying, I ain't batshit crazy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you know. I agree, bro. Because at the end of the day, man, it's like. I grew up with boxing. In my household, there was two sports that were always on TV: basketball boxing and baseball. In a cardinal sin, you touch my grandmother's TV and change the channel from her Yankees. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's the way I grew up. Two sports. You know, when my other cousin came to move with us, he was a basketball head, a phenom in the sport and shit like that. So that's when I started watching basketball, and that was, you know, like watching it heavy like that. And that's when, you know, that's when the whole Jordan and era was about to kick off. Dominique Wilkins and shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, okay, all right, I could fuck with basketball. Me and Cuzzo could sit here and watch some games on Saturday, shit like that. But when fights came on, it was an event constantly.
Yep.
It was an event for the household. Other family members coming over, everybody right there bringing alcohol. We can't drink that shit, but it's all on the living room table and everything, and you know, it was always an event. So that's the household I grew up in. So boxing, you know, as a spectator, that's always going to be my first love. I watch MSG late night fights and shit like that if I catch them on cable. Just to see literally watching a cab driver and a stock guy lug each other out, awkward as hell with some weird ass trunks that are just like way too big for you, but it is what it is. You out here to do your thing, and it's like, oh, how old are these dudes? Oh, one is 33 and one is 35. All right, it's two old school journeymen getting ready to bang it out. All right, let me see what these guys got. Not anything we could ever talk about on the panels and shit like that, but it's always entertaining to watch. Watch two nobody. This is both of their second professional fight. And it's like, oh shit, who are these people? Okay, let me look out for them. And then time will pass and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I saw this dude a long time ago. So I love the sport. I don't wanna be tribal about it. You feel what I'm saying? I wanna have good conversation if we're looking at the landscape and trying to have an intelligent conversation about where things could possibly go, but still keeping that level of realism, not looking for fantasy fights. Then it's like, yeah, that could be a possibility. I could see that happen the way company is moving and the way this company moving. I could see the triangle play, you know. So, bro, it's always like I say 1,000 times, man. It's always been a pleasure for me to come on yours and Pop's channel and just chop it up. You feel what I'm saying? And just be like, yeah, I could have intelligent conversations with these guys. I know, you know, sometimes from my fan perspective, I may completely misconstrue some shit because I just breezed through the top line and shit, and it's like, yeah, I did say that on that video. I gotta clean that up. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's all part of, you know, I say just being a man. I can admit when I'm wrong. I can tell you, nah, I was wrong. You right about that. My bad. You feel what I'm saying? I don't have to be Johnny Wright guy. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm like, hey, you can have it. I'm like, hey, okay, Al's done. Okay, PBC, they in shambles. Okay, now what? And you said it first.
Yeah.
Salute. You know what I'm saying? Now what?
Yeah,
like,
you said it first. Breaking news. What's next?
I'm like, what does that do for me as a boxing fan, man? Like, what does that, like, okay, so what that mean? What that mean? Like, I don't get it. So yeah, but it's changing. You know, it's changing. It has evolved, man, and it's on bended knee, man. It's I used to joke around and say it was WWE. Like my first one, like some of the videos is probably still on Michael Rogers. They still up. I was saying it's turning into WWE. That was about 3-4 years. I was like, man, I was saying it back then. Before I even had body work. When I was just Michael Rogers, I was saying it then. Like it's on bar, it's evolving. And I say anytime a cable guy come to your house and he see that, okay, oh, you like boxing? And he be like, oh man, what you think about that Mike and Mike Tyson fight? I'm like, see, they tell you everything you need to know. Yeah. So that's what the character they're putting it towards the cat. That's who they're marketing to.
Mm-hmm.
So when you home and you on your Amazon or you on your DAZN app, you know, you want to watch soccer and you want to watch some baseball, you want to watch some boxing, they are channeling it to that. As far as that goes, that's wonderful. As far as the boxing conversations and what's really going on, it's terrible.
Yeah, horrible.
It's horrible, man.
Yeah, it's like, bro, can you guys chill with the narratives? I know you want to be that go-to guy, but there's enough meat on the bone that we all can eat.
Like I said with this right here.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't hear. I was waiting. I was looking. Okay, who gonna get that? Man, ain't nobody even act like that. Ain't none of that. For the most part. So
like nothing ain't happened this weekend. Like
ain't nothing happened. Ain't nobody covered no ground. Ain't no pressure. ain't no real pressure on this guy right here. It's some pressure now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But ain't nobody. You know they're gonna microwave that here. Everybody else and then come out Thursday and Friday and then. Now they're gonna know everything and have all these insights and be able to look up shit and come out and pick some shit out their ass.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I was like, yo, if Keyshawn could go out there and perform the way it's expected for him to perform, with Virginia on your back, with what you put, your own weight that you put on your back, than what Top Rank is trying to do for you, bro. You the man at Top Rank.
Yeah. Yeah.
You pull through that, you the man at Top Rank.
Yep. You gonna run it. You gonna run it. That's why I say, hey, talk your shit, but hey, remember what I was saying before the fight? I said, man, these guys calling all these names and saying all this. I said, but they gotta get in there. I was like, it's only gonna be based on their performance, whether or not people are gonna look at the things that they were saying and doing before as to whether they're gonna play that hindsight of 2020. So it's a lot of pressure, and that is a lot of pressure, because I could imagine, man, like they talk about since Sweet Pea, and they bringing up you and Sweet Pea, and you in your own home, and the pressures of just everybody like looking like you are a real live star right now in your city. Like that's a lot of people and eyeballs, and a lot of pressure for you to, a lot of extra energy, a lot of extra like promotion, all of that stuff, man. And so I hope he locked and cocked and he focused.
Yeah, because I mean, they wanna put the Sweet Pea shoes, gloves, and shorts on you and say, yeah, this is our new Sweet Pea 2.0 right here. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's look at where he's at with less than 16 fights in the game. Look at where he's at.
Yeah.
Look at the embrace. In the city of 30,000, you sold out 1/3 of the city's population in a 10,000 seat arena.
Yeah.
Bro.
Big things.
Bro, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, Key, man, please.
And that Argentinian, you know them Argentinians, them boys ain't nothing to shake no stick at, boy. They tough like Castaño, and they you know, they change levels, and you know, they you know, he it's a good test. This is gonna tell us everything we need to know, man.
And that's why I said you chose Lemos. So you put that on your own back to say, nah, I don't wanna like touch to make my debut like that. I ain't doing something where somebody's coming off some embarrassing knockout or whatever, and I'm gonna try to stroll up in there and say yada yada yada. And I was saying earlier, like, listen, when you look at the card of Keyshawn Davis and you look at the card of Jerron Boots Ennis, I said this. Some people will disagree with me. Keyshawn's card looks authentic.
Yes.
It has an authenticity to it.
Yes. Yes, so, absolutely. That's why it was for me with Brian Norman, that was a missed opportunity.
That's a huge missed opportunity, because it's like, Duke, you didn't realize that you don't bring nothing to the table and you ain't taking shit off the table. You a Dragon Ball Z Naruto filler. Something before the big bosses fight.
Let me tell you, let me show you something. Now people might not acknowledge it like this, but Gabriel Fundora fought undisputed.
Yes.
On somebody's undercard.
Yes.
You didn't even you could have locked in a defense and captured some of that fan base, because that fan base, you might have been able to get some of them guys to go down towards Atlanta and buckle down and say, all right, well, I at least defended my strap.
Now, if people was really talking about it, talking about that card the way they would be talking, she stole the card. Her performance stole the card. So, listen, that's a silent whisper right there. Deadly, bro.
Yep.
That's after you get shot and the paramedic comes over your body like, what's your name? You feel what I'm saying?
And what I'm seeing with Boots is like the same thing I was saying with Shushu, how they kept pairing him with Xander. It's like, well, you're gonna have to, because Boots got his own there, but then the whole fighting Karen the second time, like that thing. So they kind of had it. I don't know if they felt like they had to save it. I don't know what the whole thing with Bam. I don't know, man. But like you said, it's more. And with Norman, because even with Norman off of it, it's lit. But with Norman on it, like that title and him doing that, man, I was like, man, that card looked too good to be true. Like when I saw it, I said, what? I gonna have Abdullah Mason, they're gonna have Troy Osley, DB3, and Brian Norman.
Bruh.
Like that's like a where they do that at?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for him, man. I'm not, I'm not gonna steal nobody thunder on that, man. I'm gonna do my piece. I'm working in the back on that, man. I'm just gonna wait, man. I ain't giving out no freebies on that one, man.
Yeah, bro. That's why I'm like, you know what, man? I'm gonna watch everything. I'm wishing Boots the best. I hope he drops. I hope he gets him out of there before 9. I'm anticipating him getting him out of there before 9. But again, I'm gonna try to keep it reiterating this to the young fighters. Reality is perception. You go 12 rounds with this guy, people are gonna start to talk.
Yep.
That's the sad part about it. You could beat him convincingly for 12 rounds, but if you go 12 rounds with him, they're gonna talk.
You can't tell me this dude ain't get better either. This dude got better.
Yeah, and I just want to see.
Ron got better because he didn't have no fuck you on his punches. If he had a little bit of like what Gary Russell be talking about, a little fuck you on his punches, man.
Yeah, and I at the end of the day, I just want to see the weigh-ins because I'm gonna be able to be like, all right, because it's been a minute, bro, and you're not a small guy, and you know what I'm saying. I don't. If anything looks funky, I think the built-in excuse is gonna be, I think you might have hung around 47 too long.
Yep, they already
got that belt and immediately went up to 54 to just start the campaign up there and not be worried about the mix because you're young enough that you can inherit 54 and then move up to 60.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I be trying not to read into it. I just read the tea leaves, but I know we done had a couple conversations on here, and I know right after that, Boots was on there. They did an inside joint. They had the image with him all up in the camera, and then after that, Murtazaliev. After I've been pushing, I did that twice. It's been a double down on we want undisputed at 47 no matter what. We looking at 47 first. We gonna do this. I'm like, all right, man. All right, man. So I don't want to hear about no 54 then, man. We ain't gonna play this teeter-totter game, man. Like,
yeah,
because that's selective to me. It's like if you the biggest baddest, you can go up to 68 and beat shit down whoever's leg, then you should be calling Janet back because Janet back looking for a fight. You know what I'm saying? If that's really, you know what I'm saying? If it's skills pay the bills, and you talking Roy Jones. Listen, and I say this, like, because it sounds like I'm hating. If you say that you are just like another fighter, you should be doing things that other fighter was doing. Because it wouldn't be, Roy Jones would not be able to be around. Mike Tyson wouldn't be able to be around with all these other people talking about how bad they are.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
And you the size, you that size, or you know that's a comfortable weight, and you plan on, man, Roy would have been up like the weight, like Roy, man. If we thought he was a star back then, somebody with Roy's skill set and the mindset he had right now, nobody wouldn't talk about nobody.
Nope.
They'd be sitting around talking about Roy all goddamn day.
All day.
Because he would go up and get that shit. He would go up there and spank motherfucker. I'ma still clip that. You said it best that day when you were saying how Boots' mindset should be and what he should say. I'm gonna clip that too. Mm-hmm. But Roy, he would have went up. Who? Nah, y'all must have forgot. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Even if you wasn't putting in Roy Jones' name, Roy Jones would still move the algorithm. Just searching up Roy Rogers, the restaurant. Where's to know Roy Jones is gonna move the algorithm? So listen, when you talk about fighters like that, in today's era, a Bernard Hopkins in today's era, Ike Cortain in today's era.
Antonio Tarver in today's era.
Oh my God! Oh.
They won't even go to him to get coach. I said it a long time ago. Man. I said it a long time ago. I was like, more of these young guys, just like if I was a wide receiver, I'd be hollering at Jerry. If I was a running back, I'd be hollering at Barry. Yeah. It's like I would be hollering at these dudes who like, this dude put Roy Jones down. You don't want to go figure out what he got to say?
Yeah.
Not even listen, not just pay him a couple $dollars and be like, listen, man, let me spend a week with me. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Work with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of whatever I got some bread. I'm gonna take care of whatever you got going on. Just talk to me. Let me know what I need to do. Like, put me in the right path.
Yeah. I'm always at this gym. Listen, I'll pay for your trip up here, bro. For the Uber or Lyft from the airport, my man. Listen, I just want your expertise, you know, to pick me apart so I could see what you do that makes you great like that. That made you great like that.
Yep. And the good thing about somebody like that would be he ain't a company man. Like, so, like, for example, if Tim Bradley wanted to, he don't have to go get them top rank checks. I think them top rank checks are nice enough to where this, you know, I like, okay, I get to go to this fight, I get to travel, I get to do this and go there. No, he'd probably make way more if he was just like a consultant, like a special, like where I come in and you give me this, I come in and do that, and then you would be able to speak free. You wouldn't even, because you wouldn't be a company man. You could speak free and you would still get the bread because you are Hall of Fame. You've been in there with Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So these guys that was able, like a Devin should go get with Tim.
Yeah.
Tim didn't have all the power, but he was savvy. Tim was savvy in that ring, man. He had little subtle, savvy moves, and he was kind of feisty at times. But he, you know what I'm saying? Like he was tactical and shit.
And that's what Tim said himself. He was like, "Listen, I didn't have one punch knockout power, but I know how to fight. I know how to pick you apart. You don't need knockout power to be a great champion." And I was like, "Oh, that's all right." He, you know, when Tim Bradley talked like that, I'm like, y'all people better listen. You know, but man, listen, it's just we're in a weird era in boxing, and I've never seen this before. But social media changed the world, so it's gonna change boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And for all of us old school fans like that, you know, like the dog and the old school fighters and some of the remnants of that, you just got to understand, after this generation, we may skip one or two, but there'll be some fighters here and there that show glimpse like, nah, I don't want to go out like that because that's not the way I was raised. Like a Abdullah Mason, like a, just like some of these other young fighters.
I think Tito, he on that path. That dude Tito Mercado I'll be talking about. I think he on that path too. If he don't, because he got everything. He got the image, he got the physique, he got the skills, he can talk, he talk shit. Like he, but he know how to be respectful. He's smart, like he's intelligent. He got it, but I'm like, man, that's why I got a series I'm gonna come out called Before the Silk Sheets, man. Before the Silk Sheets, bro. And it's like it's only a few, man. It's like we looking at some of the last of the Mohicans, man.
Yeah.
As far as the new until it change over to where it's like But yeah, man. Good cook, man. Good cook.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for chiming in again, bro. You want to land your plane anywhere?
Nah, man. It was just a great show, man. Like I said, if I landed anywhere, it's always a pleasure coming up here and chopping it up with you and shit like that. Just to give the playback game some fodder for comments. Like, subscribe, hate, but make sure you participate to the body work. Get it in, go that body head. But you got to get in that body work if you want that stoppage.
Yep. I appreciate that, bro.
For real.
Have a good evening, brother.
You too, man.
All right, man. And that's just the way it is. Oh man, anyways, man, yeah, man, it was good cook, man, good cook. I normally keep these an hour, but shoot, it was a good cook on the back end, you know, on the chop it up portion. So I went ahead and let it run. So I'm
Listen, this is a heavy bag. Now, listen, work with me. Muhammad Ali's nephew's cousin's little sister's friend gave me the idea that, listen, it's okay if I could put Ali on here and you get all the benefits, you know, as if he signed it himself. I promise you, I swear it's 100. I'm gonna be raffling this off. If you want it, hit me up. Let me know. I'll get that out to you. And pretty much whatever money we get back, what we gonna do? We're gonna give it to one of the hottest boxers in the nation. Up and coming. We won't until we get the monies in. Once we get the monies in, then we'll figure out and we'll let everybody know when we get around to let you know where the money's gonna go. But remember, Muhammad Ali's, you know who it was. It's gonna have Ali on it. Permission. Let me know. Thanks for choosing Bobby.
Oh my god.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga? Right? Oh, okay. You want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Body Work.